Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're taking a look ahead, about 15 years into the future, actually.
That's right. We're focusing on Dubai's 2040 Urban Master Plan.
Yeah, it's quite something. So if you're interested in future cities, urban planning, or, Dubai itself, this should be fascinating.
Definitely. And it's important to remember this isn't entirely new ground. This 2040 plan is actually the seventh one they've done since 1960.
Seventh. Wow. So they've been planning long-term for a while.
Exactly. And think about the change. Back in 1960, Dubai had, maybe 40,000 people? Tiny area, just over 3 square kilometers.
Right. And now, by 2020?
Well, the population hit 3.3 million. That's 80 times more people.
80 times. That's incredible growth. And the city itself?
Expanded massively, about 170 times the land area compared to 1960.
So, okay, with that kind of backdrop, this huge expansion, what's the real drive behind this 2040 plan? What are they aiming for?
Fundamentally, it seems to be about people, enhancing happiness, the quality of life for everyone there.
For residents and visitors.
Yeah, exactly. And also really cementing Dubai's place as a top global destination.
Makes sense. So which specific parts of the city are getting the focus for these updates?
The plan highlights a few key zones. You've got the older areas like Dinera and Bur Dubai.
The store cart.
Right. Then the modern centers, downtown and Business Bay, plus Dubai Marina and JBR.
Okay, the waterfront spots.
And also the Expo 2020 site, looking at its future use, and Dubai Silicon Oasis for the tech side.
Interesting mix. So respecting the history but pushing forward too, what about getting around? With more people, more activity, transportation must be key.
Oh, absolutely. A huge focus is on improving public transport, big time.
More trains, buses.
Presumably. And also making it much easier and safer to walk or cycle.
The pedestrian and cyclist angle.
Good. And what's neat is how they're linking it all together.
Yeah.
It's not just about moving people faster. It's tied into environmental goals.
Sustainability.
Exactly. And economic growth, too. They see investment and job creation coming out of these transport upgrades.
That integrated thinking is smart. Greener travel, economic boost.
Okay, speaking of green, I heard some big numbers about parks and nature.
Yes, quite ambitious targets there. The plan is to actually double the amount of park space.
Double it. Okay.
And maybe even more striking, the goal is for nature reserves to make up 60% of Dubai's total area.
60% nature reserves. That's huge for a major city.
It is. It's a bold vision. And they're planning new green corridors to sort of weave it all together, connecting different parts of the city.
So linking up residential areas with commercial spots through green spaces.
That seems to be the idea. It really reflects this growing understanding globally of how vital nature is for, urban living, especially in a desert environment.
No kidding. Okay, 60% nature reserves. That's something to picture. What about the fun stuff? The beaches, tourism. Dubai's famous for that.
Definitely not forgotten. The plan includes a massive expansion of public beaches by 400%.
400%? Wow. Yeah. And alongside that, the land set aside for hotels and tourist activities is planned to increase by 134%. Commercial space gets a boost too, aiming for around 168 square kilometers.
So more room for visitors, more for business. It really does sound comprehensive. But with all this modernization, this rapid change, what happens to Dubai's history? Is that part of the 2040 picture?
Yes, it seems so. Preserving cultural heritage is explicitly mentioned as a priority.
Yeah.
There's a focus on making sure people still feel connected to the older parts of the city, recognizing that heritage is, a core part of its identity, even as it rockets forward.
That's important. So how do they make sure all this actually happens? And happens, sustainably? Big plans need good management.
Right. So the plan includes putting new rules and regulations in place, new guidelines, and a whole governance model, basically.
A framework for growth?
Exactly. To try and ensure that all these different threads pull together in a coordinated, sustainable way, it's needed for something this ambitious.
Okay, so summing it up, this Dubai 2040 Urban Master Plan is this incredibly detailed, really far-reaching blueprint for the city's next chapter.
That's a good way to put it. The ultimate goal, really, is creating a better future, improving well-being for, everyone who lives in or visits Dubai.
It certainly gives you a lot to think about. Considering that scale, that speed of transformation, what part of this vision listening in do you find the most striking or maybe the most surprising? Definitely a fascinating look at where one of the world's most dynamic cities is headed. Thanks for diving deep with us today.